तन पवित्र तीर्थ गए, तन पवित्र तीर्थ गए, धन पवित्र कर दान। तन पवित्र तीर्थ गए, ए धन पवित्र कर दान, ए मन पवित्र होत तब, हृदय होत उर ज्ञान। कबीरा कुआ एक है, कबीरा कुआ एक है, पनिहारी अनेक, न्यारे न्यारे बर्तन भये। पानी सब में गुरु बिन ज्ञान न उपजे, गुरु बिन मिटे नहीं वेद रे। हे गुरु बिन ज्ञान न उपजे, गुरु बिन मिटे नहीं भेद, गुरु बिन संशय ना मिटे। ए भले पड़े चारों वेद, भले पड़े चारों वेद। नाम लिया उसने जान लिया सकल शास्त्र का भेद। नाम नाम મોનિટર આપવા દો। अच्छा तो वायोलिन में મોનિટર આપજો થોડું। ये बात नाम लिया उसने जान लिया सकल शास्त्र का भेद। बिना नाम नर के गया पढ़े चारों वेद। घोर समय भवतारण घोड़ो समय भवतारण भोड़ो। घोर समय भवतारण भोड़ो। हे घोर समय भवतारण भोड़ो। घोर समय भवतारण भोड़ो। जी पूजो प्रेम करीने रे। घोर समय भवतारण भोड़ो। घोर समय भवतारण भोड़ो। ए वाघांबर पीतांबर सोहे। देखा ध्यान धरीने रे। व्याघांबर पीतांबर सोहे। बैठा ध्यान धरीने रे। देखत ऐसो रूप मनोहर। देखत ऐसो रूप मनोहर। काड़ रहे थे डरीने रे। घोर समय भवतारण भोड़ो। घोर समय भवतारण भोड़ो। भाले तिलक के शरणु की दूजी। अंगे विभूति भरीने रे। सहित तमे भजो घोड़ाने,
भाव सहित तमे भजो घोड़ाने,
नावे जन्म फरीने रे,
घोर सवे भवतारण घोड़ो, घोर सवे भवतारण घोड़ो, घोर सवे भवतारण घोड़ो, घोर सवे भवतारण घोड़ो,
हे पूजो प्रेम करीने रे,
घोर सवे भवतारण घोड़ो, घोर सवे भवतारण घोड़ो, घोर सवे भवतारण घोड़ो।
ऐसा करूँ क्या? ऐसे बैठो, जैसा आप बोले ऐसा हाँ। हाँ हाँ करना फकीरी फिर क्या दिलगिरी, सदा मगन में रहना जी। कोई दिन हाथी कोई दिन घोड़ा, कोई दिन पांव चलना जी। ए मीरा कहे मीरा कहे प्रभु गिरधर नागुण, आए पड़े सो सहना जी, आए पड़े सो सहना जी। ए मन लागो मेरो यार फकीरी में,
मन लागो मेरो यार फकीरी में।
बुरा सबका सुन लीजिए, भला बुरा
सबका सुन लीजिए,
भला बुरा सबका सुन लीजिए,
भला बुरा सबका सुन लीजिए,
कर गुजरान गरीबी में, कर गुजरान गरीबी में, मन लागो
मेरो यार फकीरी में,
मन लागो मेरो
यार फकीरी में।
आखिर ये तन खाक मिलेगा,
आखिर ये तन खाक मिलेगा,
ओ आखिर ये तन खाक मिलेगा,
आखिर ये तन खाक मिलेगा,
कहाँ फिरत मगरूरी में,
महाफिरत
मगरूरी में, मन लागो मेरो यार फकीरी में, मन लागो मेरो
यार फकीरी
मन लागो मेरो
यार फकीरी
मन लागो मेरो
यार फकीरी।
छह शक्ति के रोज सात जटा पर गंग बहे दिन रात डाक डमरो ना डम डमा शंख ना नाद करे सेवा। छह शक्ति के रोज सात जटा पर गंग बहे दिन रात डाक डमरो ना डम डमा शंख ना नाद करे से बात शिव ने
भजो जीव दिन रात पुराने भजो जीव दिन रात जीव ने भजो जीव दिन रात पुराने भजो जीव दिन रात।
शिव जी सोबे थे कैलाश, शिव जी सोबे थे कैलाश ત્યાં વસે દેવો ને ઋષિરાજ ચારણો નંદી ચરાવે ત્યાં કરે છે ચાર વેદની વાત શિવને
भजो जीव दिन रात पुराने भजो जीव दिन रात जीव ने भजो जीव दिन रात पुराने भजो जीव दिन रात।
छे भक्ति के रोज सात जटा पर गंग बहे दिन रात डाक डमरो ना डम डमाट शंख ना नाद करे છે વાત। छे शक्ति के रोज सात जटा पर गंग बहे दिन रात डाक डमरो ना डम डमाट शंख ना नाद करे છે વાત। शिव ने
भजो जीव दिन रात
घोड़ा ने भजो जीव दिन रात शिव ने भजो जीव दिन रात घोड़ा ने भजो
भजो जीव दिन रात।
हे करे છે શિવજી તાંડવના કરે છે શિવજી તાંડવનાથ દેખ પાડો ના છૂટતા હાથ જોઈને દેવો ફફડે હાથ ઘોડાને વિલવે બેઓ હાથ શિવને ભજો જીવ દિન રાત ઘોડાને ભજો જીવ શિવને ભજો જીવ દિન રાત ઘોડાને ભજો छे शक्ति के रोज सात जटा पर गंग बहे दिन रात डाक डमरू ना डम डमाट शंख ना नाद करे सेवा। छे शक्ति के रोज सात जटा पर गंग बहे दिन रात डाक डमरू ना डम डमाट शंख ना नाद करे सेवा। शिव ने भजो जीव दिन रात घोड़ा ने भजो जीव दिन रात शिव ने भजो जीव घोड़ा ने भजो जीव दिन रात शिव ने भजो जीव दिन रात
घोड़ा ने भजो जीव दिन रात घोड़ा ने भजो जीव दिन रात।
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Sa ni da pa ma ga ma ga re ga ma ga re sa ni re ni da pa ma ga ma ga re ga ma ga sa.
Sani ma ga ga ma dha ni ma ni da pa ma pa pa ma ga ma re ga re sa.
Namaste and welcome to this 12th morning of June 2023. A great start. All of you are well in time for the morning assembly. We have a few stragglers coming in and hopefully they will all be settled by the time we actually begin. The first day of school means the beginning of a new journey. And we'll get to some of that a little bit later this morning. But for now, let's all focus our minds on the prayer.
Top of the morning to you. Today, let's tackle the day with the determination of a toddler trying to put on their own shoes. Namaste and a very bright morning to everyone. I, Yashvi Mehta from class 10B,
And I, Vansh Sorathia from class 10H.
welcome you all to today's morning assembly. Today is 12th of June 2023 અને ગુજરાતી કેલેન્ડર પ્રમાણે આજે જેઠ વદ નોમ છે.
Prayer is not asking for what you think you want, but asking to be changed in ways you can't imagine. With this thought in mind, please rise for the morning prayers.
Please assume the correct position for the chant, which is hands in front, legs a little spaced out, and back is straight, head up, eyes closed. All together.
ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति
Shanti, Shanti. Please sit. Again, settle down, hands in the open position, palm up, back straight, head up, eyes closed. Eyes closed, please. Our prayer.
शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम
शिव नाम नाम शिव
शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम
शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम
जपले बंदे जपले जपले
जपले बंदे जपले जपले
जपले बंदे जपले जपले
जपले बंदे जपले जपले
नाम आएगा काम काम शिव
नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम
शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम
नाम शिव नाम
शिव शंकर का नाम धियाया नैन कमल शिवलिंग पे चढ़ाया
शिव शंकर का नाम ही ध्याया नैन कमल शिवलिंग पे चढ़ाया
शिव शंकर का नाम ही ध्याया नैन कमल शिवलिंग पे चढ़ाया
शिव शंकर का नाम ही ध्याया नैन कमल शिवलिंग पे चढ़ाया
शिव भोले की पूजा करते
शिव भोले की पूजा करके
दशरथ के सुत राम राम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम शिव नाम
नाम शिव
शिव शिव शिव शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम
शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम नाम शिव नाम
Please rise. Hands in front, back straight, head up. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Deep breath in, one last time.
Women empowerment may be defined in several ways, including accepting women's viewpoints and raising their status through education, literacy, and training. I invite Sneha Vora from Class 10E to deliver a speech by Priyanka Chopra titled The Power of Women.
Priyanka Chopra was honored by Variety at their Power of Women event in 2017, and this is where she gave this powerful speech. This is considered a path-breaking speech in the scene of gender bias observed at many places around the world. Good morning, and thank you, and wow. I am so privileged and so honored to be sharing this morning with all of you and these incredibly amazing women who are being honored today. So, in life, you know, there are moments when you stop and ask yourself, how did I get here? Like, why am I standing here? Well, this is definitely one of those moments for me, and I find myself going back to the beginning, back to my roots. I was born to amazing parents who served as doctors in the Indian Army. I was the firstborn, and as far back as I can remember, I made my parents very proud and happy, 99% of the time. My brother was born a few years later, and even then, nothing changed for me. We were both given equal opportunities, and I want to emphasize this. I want to really emphasize this for you because I don't think many people understand that being equal might seem very normal, but where I come from, India, and many other developing countries in the world, more often than not, this is an exception. It's actually a privilege. My first experience of the glaring disparity between a boy and a girl came at a very, very young age. I was 7 or 8 years old when my parents used to take me on these visits in a traveling clinic to villages around Bareilly. My job at the age of 8 years old was an assistant pharmacist. I used to count all the medicines, put them in an envelope and give it out to patients. And I took my job very seriously. But the more I went on these expeditions, the more I started to notice the simplest things that distinguished a boy from a girl or a man from a woman. But I think what really moved the needle for me and ultimately led me to create the Priyanka Chopra Foundation for Health and Education, and around the same time partner with UNICEF, was an encounter with my housekeeper's daughter. About 12 years ago, I came home from set early one day, and she was sitting in my library reading a book. And she was 8 or 9 years old, and I knew she loved reading. So I asked her, I was like, it's a weekday. Why aren't you in school? And she said, oh, I don't go to school anymore. So I went and asked her mother, and her mom said that her family couldn't afford to send her and her brothers to school. So they chose the boys. The reason? She would eventually get married and it would be a waste of money. I was completely blown and it shook me to my core. Eventually, I decided to cover the cost of her education so that she could continue to learn, because education is a basic human right. From that point on, I was determined to make a difference in as many children's lives as I could, in whatever big or small way that I could contribute. There's a really, really beautiful quote that I read recently, and I think that sums up what I'm trying to say. The hand that rocks the cradle, the procreator, the mother of tomorrow, a woman shapes the destiny of civilization. Such is the tragic irony of fate, that a beautiful creation, such as a girl child, is today one of the gravest concerns facing humanity. And there is still so much work to do. And for me, that is the fuel to my fire. The reason I'm so committed to this cause, and that is where my passion stems from, is because I know that a girl's education not just empowers families, but communities and economies. A result of girls' education, we all do better. It's just as simple as that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sneha.
अपने सपनों को हासिल करना आसान नहीं है, लेकिन यह हार मानने का बहाना भी नहीं है। रास्ते में बहुत कठिनाई भी आएगी, लेकिन आपको चलते ही रहना चाहिए ताकि आप अपने लक्ष्य को प्राप्त कर सकें। ऐसे ही एक विचार को एक कविता के द्वारा प्रस्तुत करने आ रही है राजवी डोडिया, क्लास 10B से।
नमस्ते। सपनों की उड़ान, तू कुछ सोच अलग, तू कुछ बन अलग, तभी तो नाम कमा पाएगा। सपनों का है ये ऊंचा आसमान, तू कुछ सोच अलग इस दुनिया से। भरनी है तुम्हें लंबी उड़ान, माना राहों पे आएगी मुश्किलें हजार। तू संघर्ष कर, तू आगे बढ़, तभी तो सपने को साकार कर पाएगा। पंख होगे तेरे भी मजबूत, पंख होगे तेरे भी मजबूत, जब तुम पर पाओगे। तू गिर, तू 1000 बार गिर, फिर से उठ खड़ा हो, तभी तो सपने को उड़ान दे पाओगे। कुछ करना है तो डट कर चल, थोड़ा दुनिया से हट कर चल, कभी इतिहास को पलट कर चल। बिना काम के मुकाम कैसा, बिना मेहनत के दाम कैसा, जब तक ना हासिल हो मंजिल तो राह में आराम कैसा। अर्जुन सा निशाना रख, मन में ना कोई बहाना रख, लक्ष्य सामने है बस उसी पे अपना ठिकाना रख। मिलेगा तेरी मेहनत का फल, बस तू संघर्ष कर, तू संघर्ष कर। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद राजवी। Please give a huge round of applause for the reciters and music team this morning.
Sneha and Rajvi, please come on stage. Deserve a standing ovation. Please rise. An overhead clap for both of them, please. Thank you so much. Please sit. Sneha and Rajvi are outstanding examples of what all of you can become. Right? It's vacation time, and yet to resolve that I am going to go on the first day and recite, even if I have to give several days of my time in preparation. So when you are making yourself into somebody, and particularly if you want to make yourself into somebody powerful, then there is no vacation time. Every minute is vital towards that preparation. So this morning I'm going to talk about two things. Right? One, our master of ceremonies already made mention of the reason for prayer. Right? So, what do we pray for? And perhaps there were thoughts that came in your mind as you were listening to the music team and your eyes were closed in a tribute to God, Goddess, whomever you believe. Right? What were you thinking that you could ask for? Right? So there is a universal prayer that guides us in this particular area. It tells us that you can ask God for three things. And it is possible that you may be granted all three. You could ask God for a winning lottery ticket. Your chances are 1 in a million. Right? But if you ask for these three things, then each one of you can come to own these things. Now, they are not material things. They are an approach and attitude towards life. So when you pray, you ask God for strength, tolerance, wisdom. So you need tolerance to accept the things that you can't change. For instance, a simple thing like coming to school on time at 7:30. Now, it's not a time that you can change, so you will simply have to accept and come at the time designated. It's what is called being outside your circle of influence. In the same way, there are many things that happen in your life as a child that you don't have control over. Let me amend that. Some of you are practically now grown-up young men and women. So you will begin to have more things that come into your circle of influence, but there are quite a few things that you have to simply tolerate and accept. This can also be how your parents decide things for you, how the community decides things that you have little influence over at this growing stage. So you ask God for tolerance, that I accept the things that I cannot change. Then you ask God for strength. That there are things that you can change. And you ask God, you pray that you receive the muscles to make that happen. For instance, you always run short of time to do things. How many of you experience a shortage of time on a day-to-day basis? Raise your hand, right? How many of you experience, you wish that you had more time in your day, right? Hello? You are okay with 24 hours? Some of your competitors are thinking that they would like to have 30 hours. So how do you manufacture time? Is it in your control? Now you could turn around and say that 24-hour clock applies to everybody. And nobody can get 25 hours. But there is something within your control. The amount of time that you spend on task, on doing the things that will help you grow up to become the person that your parents are dreaming of, your teachers are dreaming of, and perhaps you are dreaming of. So this time on task, this amount of time that you put into the preparation of all the things that matter is in your hands. Everybody has 24 hours, but a large number of people spend time off task. And more sleep than you need. So were you to get up at 5 a.m. every morning, life would become very different. And the most successful people in the world are all part of something called the 5 a.m. club. And if you start at 5 a.m., if you start your day at 5 a.m., you are already ahead of everybody else who starts at 7. This is in your control. So you pray that you receive the strength to make that happen, the strength to become determined that I am going to do things differently from everybody else, and that will be my advantage. The third thing, right? So, two things. To accept the things you can't change, to get the strength to change the things that you can, then you need something else. So that you don't bang your head against the wall, right? You need wisdom. Wisdom to know the difference between the things you can change and the things that you cannot. So that you focus your energies only on the things that you can change. You should be able to understand the difference that I can change this, but I can't change this. So I focus my energies here, and then surprisingly what happens is that this area of my life that I can change continues to expand, expand, expand. And surprisingly or not surprisingly, the things that I thought I could not change also begin to come into my influence. 3 things. Acceptance, tolerance, strength, and wisdom. This is what you can pray for. All other prayers, just before the exam, you are using a mala and saying, "Dear God, make sure that our question paper is easy today." Okay. Now, you know that in SNK it does not work. The board paper might be easy, but SNK papers are not going to be easy. So the thing to do there is, of course, to accept and tolerate the fact that teachers are going to be hard on you, and you pray for the strength to prepare early, prepare in time, prepare thoroughly, so that when you walk into that examination hall, you are no longer anxious about what might come. You are ready for anything. Right? One last time, these are very, very important things to remember and can guide your life in such a way that you make the most of your potential. Right? Acceptance, tolerance, strength to change the things you can, and then wisdom to know the difference between the things I can change and the things I cannot change. Next up, here's another tool or resource to help you deal with what you are going to face throughout this year. It's called a SWOT analysis. Now, some of you might be aware of what a SWOT analysis is. Right? SWOT. Whenever you are faced with a problem or a challenge that is very big in scale and scope, that is when you use a SWOT analysis to make decisions. So what decisions are you facing at this point in time? A big one. You are starting a fresh academic year. You have a blank page to write on. What exactly are you going to write on that page will decide how the rest of the year goes. And in order to make that decision about what to write on the page, you use something called a SWOT analysis. S stands for strengths. What are your strengths? What do you do really well? W stands for weaknesses. What are the things that you are most challenged by? What upsets you? What triggers negative emotion? W, weaknesses. S, strengths. O stands for opportunities. What are the opportunities that I have available this year? And you list them. I can start afresh. I can erase the previous year by what I do this year. Now, if you had a very successful year, then you may continue doing many of the things that you did, but you are still looking to make improvements. So, S for strength, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities. T is for threats. What can derail your train? What can take you off your chosen pathway? What can come in and upset whatever you are trying to do? Social media is a threat. Wanting to sleep more is a threat. Wanting to play video games is a threat, because these are what are called zero-sum games. No matter how much you do those things, they are not working in your favor. They're not helping you become the person that you can be, and they are not aiding you towards your dreams. So when you do a SWOT analysis, you should involve your parents, and of course, your advisors will begin the process through a document called the WAG, a win-win agreement, that all of you will have worked on last year. So what goes into a win-win agreement? Again, your advisors will tell you, but the first thing that you will put in your win-win agreement is your desired results. What do I want to do by the end of the year? Once you have these identified, then for each desired result, you can start identifying what it will take, what changes you need to make, and what are some of the things that you can continue to do to get to those desired results. Now, these desired results can be academic, they can deal with an activity such as sports, dance, music, and they can deal with personal things. Perhaps your relationship with a sibling, a friend, your parents, your teachers, the way you behave in school, the way you behave out of school. So all of these things can go into your win-win agreement. This win-win agreement is with your advisor and with your parents. But most importantly, the win-win agreement is with yourself. Once you have drafted and crafted your win-win agreement, you revisit every single week to make changes that you need to in order to continue your journey towards your desired results. So remember, all of you have a blank page that you can write on. Right? And I'll give you a simple event that will have taken place this morning that you could have written differently, but you were not thinking. So when many of you walked into the school today, you would have perhaps remembered that there is something called SPIO. And many of you would not have remembered that, and you would have lapsed into speaking in a language other than that is desired when you come to school. Now, sure, we have a mother tongue, and we take pride in that mother tongue, but it is not the language of communication when we come to school, because when we come to school, we are preparing ourselves to deal with the challenges of the planet, not just our local selves. And the language that dominates Earth, the entire world's economy, is English. So it is necessary to focus on that language in order to achieve many of the things that you have as part of your dreams. Remember, you have a blank piece of paper when you go to your classes today. Write differently if you were unhappy with the results of last year. If you were happy with everything that happened last year, and your parents confirmed that, yes, you have a reason to be happy, and your teachers confirmed that you have a reason to be happy, then by all means continue to do things in the same way, but adding a few more things so that you can unearth more of your potential. So just remember a few of these simple things. Blank piece of paper. Today is a momentous occasion. We have a new principal in SNK. Now, many of you may have already heard about this, and WhatsApp groups might have already discussed this. But this morning, you get to meet Punita Madam in the flesh. May I invite Punita Madam to come forward, right? Rise and express your appreciation. Madam had the opportunity to be a principal. She's been a principal in many different schools, and she had the opportunity to choose from many, many schools out there. She made the choice to be here for this group of students and this group of teachers. So we join hands with her in making this year a memorable one for all of us. And please sit. Ms. Punita.
Namaste and a very, very beautiful morning to all of you. Namaste. Loudly, namaste. Boys, namaste. Girls, namaste. That's better. So, first of all, I want to tell you that I'll start with what Sir said then. I had something else in mind, but Sir, I'll start with what you said. Children, I want to congratulate you, and before you, I want to congratulate all the teachers present here, because I did have many schools where I could have gone, but believe me, maybe, I haven't been to so many schools, but then I have. I've been in this profession for 30 years. This has been the best school I've ever come across in my life. Can we clap for everybody? Thank you. Now, why I'm saying this, I'll be quick and short this morning. Why I'm saying this is because most of the schools in India, they are into the business of education. This is the only school which is in the mission of education. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't take anything from anybody and we just do charity. But I know one thing, this is the only school where I've seen at this level, with this kind of an infrastructure and these many children, where everything that is being done, it is being done to ensure that you get the best education possible. So I want to congratulate all of you who are involved in this, and thank you so much for accepting me as the principal of this school. There'll be many, many days when I'll be interacting with you. This is just the beginning. I know your school is already, on the way up. I won't say it's the top, because the sky is the limit. There's never something called a perfect school. We always have scope for improvement. But then I have come here to ensure that with everybody, with Sir there ahead of us, we hold hands like Sir said, we reach the top, and then we don't stand there enjoying that, but then we reach the top to do what? To fly then. So we've come here to fly, and many, many new things we are going to be introducing. Be ready, because this rocket is going to take off now, and we are going to really, really enjoy our education, our schooling in the next few years. So thank you so much, everybody, for accepting me. I hope I can deliver. I hope, you can love me as much as you love all the educators over here. And please thank your parents also for accepting me. They had no choice. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir, and thank you all the educators. Thank you.
In case you are wondering what happens to me, I guess nobody was, right? So I continue to be a part of the institution, of course, but I will be doing different things, right? Now, remember, blank piece of paper, a fresh start, right? Please rise for the national anthem. Assembly, सावधान.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Vishram, please sit. Thank you, and please await instructions about what you are to do and where you are to go. Right, sir?
Om Mangalam, Omkar Mangalam.
Om Mangalam, Omkar Mangalam.
Students may begin to move to the units.
Om Mangalam, Omkar Mangalam.
Om Mangalam, Omkar Mangalam.
Shiv Mangalam, Somvar Mangalam.
Somvar Mangalam.
Shiv Mangalam, Somvar Mangalam.
Somvar Mangalam.
रूप मंगलम शिव श्रृंगार मंगलम.
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 भस्मांग धारी का परिवार मंगलम.
भस्मांगधारी का परिवार मंगलम.
ओम मंगलम, ओंकार मंगलम.
ओम मंगलम, ओंकार मंगलम.
शिव मंगलम, सोमवार मंगलम.
सोमवार मंगलम.
शिव मंगलम, सोमवार मंगलम.
सोमवार मंगलम.
जटा मंगलम, गंगाधार मंगलम.
जटा मंगलम, गंगाधार मंगलम.
जटा मंगलम, गंगाधार मंगलम.
जटा मंगलम, गंगाधार मंगलम.
चंद्र मंगलम, चंद्राकार मंगलम.
चंद्र मंगलम, चंद्राकार मंगलम.
ओम मंगलम, ओम